I'm a writer. I have all the material I can ever want and put it all down and unquestionably will. I've learned a great deal from it. I've learned a great deal from their comments. Dare I say, curious as this may seem, whilst it hurt deeply, it was also very useful stuff.
Because your sister, she's disputed the time that you spent in an orphanage.
Yes, well, there's no question about that, but there's no comment about that. As I corrected there, you know, I left the boys' hostel at 7, and that's not to be disputed. But yes, in one of my books, I think I carried on, but it was a fictional book.
But I think she's come out and said that you might have spent weeks, maybe months, rather than years at an orphanage.
Oh, that's my sister and I just barely grew up together. You know, I saw my mother about 6 times in 50 years. I just don't want to go there. Why would I defend myself at the age of 80? Let it rest.
Because that's another claim that she makes, is that in fact you did see your mother quite often, and you were close to your mother, and your mother would even embrace you at times.
As a kid, yeah, sure, but a bit. My mother, I was unquestionably bipolar. I mean, there's no question about that.
Why don't you want to refute the claims?
Because then it starts all over again, and you know, one of the joys of having left a country where things were not always right for me, and having come to a country where I've been able to give my utmost, is I want to be known for the 57 years I've been in Australia, not for the 17 years that I spent in Africa. And to my mind, that's an absurdity. Judge me on what I have done here and what I have said here and what I have been here and what contribution, if any, I've made whilst I've been here. And that's what concerns me, not my childhood.
But you do draw a lot on the experiences of your childhood.
That's all there to read. So you can draw whatever conclusions you like from the books I've written.
Have you spoken to your sister Rosemary?
Of course.
Do you speak to her regularly?
But I don't know my sister terribly well. I mean, she's a deeply religious person of a charismatic faith, and we don't have a great deal in common. In fact, we never have had a great deal in common. We didn't spend a lot of our childhood together, some, but not a lot. So I've been careful to have her benefit from my success. She too had cancer and was terminal, but we managed to save that with a great deal of money. And so yes, you know, those things. But are we soulmates? No, not at all. I barely know her.
Do you know why she's come out and said some of the things that she said, including that you in fact didn't get a scholarship to go to school, that your father paid your tuition fees?
Well, you see, I don't believe that to be true, but the point is, she believes it to be true. Karina, what the hell has it got to do with anything? I mean, if you go down that thing, all you're doing is chasing your own tail. If she wants to believe it's true, and if the world wants to believe it's true, Bryce Courtenay is who Bryce Courtenay is. I've written 20 books, and if I appear to be protesting too much, it's because quite literally, I want to be known for who I am. And if you've read even the critics of my book, let me give you an illustration. When Power of One came out, there were, I believe, 113 worldwide major critiques written of this book. 13 of them were really bad. 11 of those were from Australia. Now, come on, I only go there, that's all. Nonsense stuff. I mean, hopefully I've given, well, I think 27 million copies of my books have been sold. Don't quote me. Well, I've quoted myself, but that's what I've been told. Okay, so 27 million copies, or 20 million if you like, doesn't matter, people have had some pleasure out of what I've written, have enjoyed, hopefully, something I've written, and that to me is a life's work, and that's my task in life. Do I really have to justify anything else? I mean, it's an absurdity, this whole business of, is he legit? Come on. Am I not? I'm a storyteller.
Let me put to you what you wrote in April Fool's Day. I tell myself lies and soon I believe them.
Of course. Name me a fiction writer who doesn't. I have always tried to be honest.
Do you think there's a blurring of the lines between the fact and the imagined?
Karina, how many writers have talked to you honestly? I mean, our whole lives are based on translating facts, of interpreting facts, of looking at every aspect of facts. You know that if two people are watching the same motor car accident, you get two entirely different stories. Now, this concept of the naked truth, my job, and it's my job, is to dress the naked truth, to make it interesting, to make it viable, to make it seem like something you understand and feel and love.
So have you done that with your own life as opposed to just with your writing?
I couldn't answer that.
Why not?
Well, because it to me it seems an absurdity. I'm a writer. There are two personas going here, and
which one's the real one?
Oh, come on, Karina. What's the term real mean?
Well, I guess it's a question of authenticity.
But that's absurd. The only thing that's authentic about what a writer writes is his work.
And so you can separate the two? In your mind, you can separate the two, your writing persona and your real life?
But of course. But of course, do you think Dickens actually wrote the two were so deeply merged that he couldn't separate the two? Dickens was accused of exactly what you're doing. Exactly what you're doing to me now. Does it make him any less real? He was one of the great writers in the world. I would never even presume to be anywhere in that class. But nevertheless, we have the same affectations, and so does just about every writer.
I want to ask you about Australia, this land that you've adopted as your own, the one that you said that you should have been born into. Is Australia different now to the one that you arrived in 1955, and how is it different?
Well, thankfully, marvellously different. I hope the camera's on you, because that's one of the fabulous differences. I mean, when I came here, everybody was a white Caucasian, or just about everybody, except for the indigenous people, of course. And now look at us. We are the most marvellous, polyglot, beautiful nation. You bet I'm proud. You bet it's different, and you bet it's better. And whatever Mr. Kerry says, it's certainly not dumber.
Have you ever considered that Australia is racist, given...
Of course Australia's racist. I mean, I have yet to meet a nation that isn't, by the way. But yes, we are, but less so today. And again, this generation, less so than ever before. And to me, that is critically important.
So what do you see from the next generation of Australian storytellers?
Just wonderful things. There's going to be a time when we all settle down and everybody's going to lament the passing of the book, if there will be a passing of the book. It's just a medium, and some people will still always love the medium. And that's lovely, and that's how it should be. But it's not the Holy Grail.
And that excites you?
Enormously. If I could have, I guess my use-by date's just about up. But if I could come back as a storyteller Now, I would be jumping over the moon because, wow, just think what's available.
Bryce Courtenay, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.